then the other seagull says, "Ah," in a German accent, "Ah, you and everybody else." And it was Don and me did those voices.
Oh, great.
Welcome, friends and fans, to another edition of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. And today, we are going back to Ellis Island with several members of the cast and creative of An American Tale. So without further ado, let's go back to America in the early 1900s. Our first guest is an actor whose amazing body of work includes G.I. Joe, Spider-Man, Voltron. His book, Vocal Recall, A Life in Radio and Voiceovers, is available now. Today, he joins us as the voice of Honest John. Please welcome back Neil Ross.
Hello, everyone. What a pleasure to be with you again. And I plan to try to stay awake for the entire broadcast, I promise.
Here's to you. Neil, how are you?
I'm good. And I'm disgustingly sober. That was just an act I was doing.
Oh, no, I absolutely believe that. Please believe that. So, boy, I wonder what would happen if Honest John and Shipwreck had hung out for a night. We'll leave that to the imagination.
What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, no, indeed. So, Neil, everything is good in your corner of the world?
Yes, sir. No complaints. I'm a happy camper.
Oh, indeed. Well, as always, it's a pleasure to have you back. Good to see you in good health and good spirit.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And next, she is an actress whose credits include Duckman, Extreme Ghostbusters, and The Tick. Today, she joins us as the voice of Tony. Please welcome back Pat Musick.
Hey, hi guys. Nice to see you. Great.
Oh,
Love
good to have you
going back.
back. How have you been, Pat?
I've been really good. Everything's been great. I've been well. I'm triple boosted. Hopefully that'll make a difference. And where I just went to lunch where I removed my mask just to eat. So that was fun.
Well, one thing we noticed last year when during the mask is like I didn't get my usual winter cold or sniffles or anything like that. So
exactly.
I'm kind of okay with doing it in the big crowds.
That's
whatever.
right.
So
Absolutely good. Yeah.
Absolutely, indeed. So Pat, glad to have you back. Glad everything is well with you.
Yeah, really, really good. Excellent.
And next, he is a producer and actor whose work both in both roles behind and in front of the camera includes The Illusionist, Creepy Crawlers, and Hang Time. Today he joins us as the voice of Fievel Mousekewitz himself. Please welcome back Phillip Glasser.
Yay.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing?
Hey, Phil, how you been, my friend?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. A little bit of a rainy day here in Nashville, but all is well.
Oh, indeed. Well, everything's well in Nashville from what everybody there's just we keep getting more and more guests. They're like, I'm in Nashville. Is that the new it town?
It is. I can't say I know, I moved here, 18 years ago, but I have so many friends on a weekly basis from California and the West Coast that are coming this way, and we welcome you. It's a beautiful place.
All right, I will keep that in mind. It's where I was born, so maybe that's where I'll be,
Nice.
where I'll end up. Phil, welcome back. Absolutely glad to have you here again. And
Thank you.
next, he is a prolific animator, producer, and screenwriter whose body of work includes Pete's Dragon, Atlantis, The Lost Empire, and The Simpsons Movie. Today, he joins us as a directing animator of American Tale, A Land Before Time, and several other Bluth productions. Please welcome back John Pomeroy.
What's going on?
Hey, everybody.
Oh, Paul, mate.
Hey,
Blow at it.
still practicing.
Oh, my goodness. John, put that up again. We'll get it on the widescreen so our audience can see it.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's
great.
fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
You still got it, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Still practicing.
John, how have you been?
Busy. I am working on a project with Disney, plus putting together my own tutorial series on how to animate, storyboard, do voiceover. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be approaching Phil and Gary to be guest instructors on my tutorial series.
Awesome.
Oh, absolutely looking forward to that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, please, let us know when that debuts, and absolutely would love to have you here and talk about it.
I will. You can probably go online and see the beginnings of it on PomeroyArtAcademy.com. That's where you'll find it.
Excellent.
All right, done and
Yeah.
done. Well, John, best of luck in this. You've had a tremendous career in animation, and absolutely kudos to you for sharing that experience and your insight on the next generation.
Thank you, Patty. Thank you.
Very welcome. And finally, he is a producer, director, and animator whose body of work includes Anastasia, Titan AE, and All Dogs Go to Heaven. Today, he joins us as a producer on American Tail. Please welcome Gary Goldman.
Hey.
Hey there, guys.
Gary, welcome back.
This is so exciting to be with you guys, and it's so fun to watch all the difference of us. And sometimes I reach out, sometimes thinking, getting up in the morning and don't look like I used to be.
Oh,
Yes.
So no,
go.
that's not the same guy anymore. But we've had a lot of good things for us, and things happening that are coming up in the future here with Netflix, by the way.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Outstanding. Well, Gary, absolutely glad to have you back. Glad you're keeping busy. Glad everybody's been keeping busy. Welcome back again to the GalaxyCon virtual stage. So glad to have you all again. Our team is going through our chat room right now, pulling out the questions for us. In the meantime, I'd just like to throw this one out. Actually, no. You know what? My producer let me know we are actually good to go. So I say, enough of my John. Let's just go straight to our audience questions. And our first one is going to come from Michael. And Michael wants to know, what is everybody's favorite song from An American Tail?
Somewhere out there.
You got it.
beneath the pale moonlight. That one.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think that's the
Agreed.
winner.
That's the one.
I think
A Grammy and an Oscar nomination usually takes the cake when you got that one.
Yeah, I think so. All right, Michael, there you have it. Great one to start us off with, and thank you. What do we have next? From Brian. Ooh, might be a trick question. What is everyone's favorite animated movie?
Ooh.
Hmm.
And we're not allowed to say An American Tail, correct?
You can say American. You absolutely can. You can say.
Well, selfishly, it's anything I'm in, and the two animated movies that I've been in that did the best were An American Tail, obviously, and then the animated Transformers movie.
Very cool.
And
Oh, cool.
those are two that I'm really proud of being a part of.
Mhm.
Right on.
Yeah, I would have to say American Tail, obviously, but my daughter voices Tinkerbell, so I love a bunch of the Tinkerbell movies that she did too.
Oh, cool.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Oh, that is very nice.
I'm probably going to go. Obviously, I wouldn't be sitting where I am right now if it wasn't for American Tail. So I'm going to say, obviously, American Tail is going to stand top of my list. But I did have a lot of blessings when I was young to be in a lot of different ones. Another one I did for Don Bluth was called The Troll in Central Park. And that was a great movie as well. I enjoyed getting to be the bratty kid in that. That was pretty fun. But my weirdest one that I'll end with, that was my most interesting experience, was the movie Bebe's Kids. And it was pretty cool. I had never been in. I knew some of Robin's comedy, but it was a really incredible experience.
Wow.
I'll tell you that.
That movie has fallen under the radar. It's very undervalued now, and it did really well when it came out, as I recall.
It did. Paramount released it. I mean, it was really, really cool. I was the only person in the movie. I was the only white actor in the movie. It was a completely amazing African American cast, and it was such an honor to be in the movie. And it was such a fun blast to work with the directors. And, this is right after Robin passed.
Yeah.
So it was really a different experience. It really was.
Yeah. Very good. John, you got one? You just say, hey.
I've got so many, but I think American Tail has a special place in my heart. American Tail was really a unique film for its time because it did so well at the box office. I think what it did was it almost kind of re-legitimized feature animation for all the major studios in Hollywood. Because up to that point, it was pretty much Disney dominating it, Don Bluth and company, we had our fingers, in the pie doing Secret of Nim and Dragon's Lair and Space Ace. But American Tail really did something for animation worldwide. I think it put a spotlight on the industry, it put a spotlight on the art form, and it's got such great family values too attached to the film.
Yeah.
Wonderful storytelling,
Great.
and it was a great association with us at Don Bluth and with Steven Spielberg.
Very much so.
Yeah, I've said that in other appearances that I really think it kicked off a renaissance in feature animation.
It
Because
did.
there really wasn't that much
Yes.
going on. And suddenly, wow, we got to start doing that. Everybody wanted to get involved.
That's right.
Nothing succeeds like
everybody got
success,
involved.
man.
Yeah, you bet, Neil. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I always think of it in my own timeline in my head. I think Secret of Nim sort of kicked open the door, and then Tail was able to walk in through it.
Right.
Because it was kind of that
Yeah.
it set the ground running, it reminded everybody, and then American Tail just being what it was, just really just managed to capture everyone. And it's also a
Absolutely.
wonderful capsule of I always love showing it to young kids, is saying this is kind of like what it was at that time with the immigrants and America and the melting pot, and why the Statue of Liberty is so important.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, and you know what? It communicates each of our own stories too well, Patty, because most of us have immigrated grandparents that came from Europe or came from anywhere in the world. My grandparents came from France. My wife's grandparents came from Italy. Phil, I think your grandparents were they from?
They were
from Europe?
the actual American's Tale story. So my grandfather escaped during the
There you go.
Cossack invasion from Volochesk, Russia. So
Wow.
very similar to my heart, because
There you go.
Fievel was
There you go.
probably my grandfather. You know what I mean?
That's great.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Potato famine immigrants. That's my lineage.
That's my fam. They're the Irish. Yeah, absolutely.
I actually
Wow.
am an immigrant. Seriously, I came here from Canada at the
Yeah,
age
that's
of
right.
11.
Oh,
Wow.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Indeed. So,
Yeah.
so Gary, do you have
belated
any?
welcome, Neil.
Yes.
What's that?
Now you
I
mentioned
said a
something
belated
here,
welcome.
So Gary, do you have a favorite animated film, or one of your favorites you'd like to declare?
I have 5 children, and so we come out of there without picking one of our films, but we do have it was mentioned just now is the fact that an American Tail actually made it soar up into the world, and there's a lot of people that have sent emails to us and saying, I just want to let you know this changed everything. We're so glad you guys came. We're talking about Don Bluth and John and a great crew. And right now I'm a little shook up on our friend Vera, and most all of you, if you know what happened. And so other than that, it's been a nice royal thing for us, even in the ups and downs of going through the last 25 years with ourselves. Is it just 25 or was it 30?
35th anniversary, November 17th, Gary.
Anyway, it's exciting. It is all the time when those voices come in on the video and reach out, and they all know all the 3 of us especially, and the crew that we saved with, and all because when we left Disney, we said this isn't good enough what we're doing in the 70s, and we're going to challenge you, and we want you to win, but and it worked for us to help them spend the money that you need to do. Walt Disney would have not even thought about the money.
Right.
I just want the movie to work, and I want him to laugh, and I want him to cry. Mm-hmm. And even in American Tail, that ending, that last less than 6 minutes, I cried. with a dad and finding Phillip. And anyway, I get choked up, and I'm one of those guys, if I go to a movie and I don't cry, I don't remember that movie. I like to be
Fair.
emotional, I guess.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Brian, great question. Thank you for that one. What do we have next? Here's one from Kyle. What was the audition process like for those who auditioned?
Well, my agent asked me to put a home tape together and, send it in, which was unusual because we used to go in and record at the office. But for some reason, she, said, please do that. So I based it on a kid in my neighborhood, This little kid, he was like this, and he had an Italian mama, and she would always make him the big meatballs, and he loved that, and he loved her big American breasts. He could put his head on her, chest, and so I just did this. I did this little kid. That was all I did, and I sent it in, and they loved it. And Steven Spielberg wanted to meet the kid, which was unfortunate because it was. But it was great. It was so exciting, and to be able to just kind of do that myself. And I'm an improviser, so I was able to just sort of improv the whole thing, remembering this kid, and it was really fun. It was great.
I had an experience. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Neil. No worries.
I had an experience similar to Pat's. My agent. Maybe we had the same agent.
Yeah, same agent. Yeah.
Donna Lee Davies, rest her soul.
That's
she
correct.
called me and she said, this movie, Steven Spielberg, blah, 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 and do something. I had this stupid little home studio, little tape recorders and things. And I said, all right, send me the sides, meaning the script. And she said, well, there are no sides. They just want you to improvise something. And I got up on my high horse, and it's, well, if they can't be bothered to send me a script, then perhaps I won't bother to read an audition for them. And then I kind of took a meeting with myself and said, don't be an idiot. And I threaded up a tape and made some sort of rousing speech, and rewound the tape, put it in an envelope, walked to the post office in Manhattan Beach where I was living. Now when you can send an MP3 around the world in a second and a half, this all sounds so quaint, but I put it in the mailbox. And I don't know, a week or 10 days later, I was told that I had the part, to my amazement.
Yes.
And I finally met Steven Spielberg some years later at an event. And I went over and introduced myself, and he looked at me and just burst out laughing. And maybe those of you who've met him have had the same experiences. You people never look the way I think you're going to look, which I guess means I do not look like a drunken Irish mouse.
Oh.
So that was good news. That was my experience. I almost didn't do it. You look back and you think, sure glad I did.
We're glad you did.
Neil, was there any sort of description whatsoever? Or was it just he's a politician or a Boss Tree reference?
She said an Irish Tammany Hall type politician. So I don't know if did she mention that I don't know if I put the drunken hiccups in or not. I can't remember if she said that there was alcohol involved. But that was pretty much what I had.
There you go. Phil.
Awesome. Well, mine is similar. I mean, Kali, I think when I auditioned, I don't even know if I was 6 years old yet. It was like 1984, I want to say, when I got the call. And a similar experience, I was asked to put myself on tape. I think I had maybe acted in like one commercial or something. I was very obviously new at 5 to the game. And they asked me to sing a song. And I think I had to recite a poem because there wasn't any dialogue, and then something else. And, Fievel was pretty much me. I mean, Gary, you and John would know better. I was a very energetic 6-year-old little boy. And, I had the gifted ability to be able to sing, which I knew was a big thing. And I know for Don and John and Gary and Steven, and I could read, which I know was also a pretty big deal when we did our stuff. And I remember putting myself on, I think I did a couple of different tapes, and then I got the same call saying, they want to use you. And I'm like, okay, sweet. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I just went to work, going to the studio, and getting going.
There you go. John and Gary, how did the two of you get involved in your capacity?
Oh boy. Well, I mean, it was. We started with working out the story with our writers and coming up with the first draft and second draft that Stephen and his crew liked. And while that was going on, we began rough storyboarding. Don was pretty much doing all the storyboards, I believe. He would kind of amalgamate two departments in one. So while he's storyboarding, he's also conceptualizing the layouts and the environments for all the set pieces in American Tail.
Mm-hmm.
And then starting the process of creating the characters, the model sheets. He would hand off a rough model sheet to me, and then I would begin some test driving it with some, first animation. Little walks, little run cycles, and just trying to get a feel for what these characters are like, and every one of the characters, whether it was Honest John or Fievel or Papa Mousekewitz, all had that little moment where you kind of discover what they're all about and how the recorded voice, marries itself to the animated character, and with Pat's voice, I mean, that was so easy. Pat gave us such great material for Toponi. I mean, that was a natural. Everybody worked out beautifully. I mean, we had a blessed crew, blessed voice talent, and it was terrific to work on. And then Gary all the time would be working with the spreadsheets and trying to make sure that everything got, we had the process in animation, you want to make sure that the flow is constant. So from story to animation to cleanup to color, that was Gary's area.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's really exciting for me during that opening, and the first time we'd ever just did an opening on the movie, and we had been negotiating with Universal, and it was happening so fast. Once we did the meetings with Stephen and with Kennedy, Kathy Kennedy, and they finally gave us a start, and we had Don had run in, and Ned, remember, he did the very first thing about the opening with the what do you call it, the horse coming through the villages there, and we did it in less than after just talking to the crew, they started animating within 20 days.
Wow.
By the end of January, that was all starting animating, and it went like crazy. We had to actually make the movie within 22 months rather than Secret of NIMH was supposed to be a 30 months, and we did it in 28 months. And this was a very dire movie, and the crew was so good. We actually had gone and came back to them saying, listen, we're going to have to all drop our income here to get this done the way Universal wants it. And we did it. And it was exciting. And this was a time when we actually brought a lot of I'm not going to talk about that tonight, though.
No problem. Well, Gary, absolute kudos to you. 22 months for a feature like this is a logistical miracle. And again, I'll remind our audience, we're talking about pre-computer days. So this is all hand-drawn, everything by hand. So kudos to you and John, your whole entire crew for pulling that off.
Wow.
Seriously.
Can I show you a picture of my... This is my husband and me, if you can see it, at the premiere. Can you see? Is it too glary?
Wow. That is so cool, Pat.
That's it.
Awesome.
That's us going to the premiere of American Tail. God knows.
Wow.
I had a very long shag then. Anyway.
You got a limousine? I had to drive my Volkswagen.
Well, it was the first time I'd been in a feature film, so I got the limousine myself. I said,
you look very cute in a tux.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Kyle, great question. Thank you so much for that. And what do we have next? From Marisa, what theme from this film resonates most with you, and that you hope audiences take away when they view it? Because there is a lot going on in here.
Well, as somebody,
a music theme or a story theme?
I think either. I think theme, just in terms of what everybody might take this interpretation of what it's about.
yeah, I think it's told in a lighthearted way, but it has some very serious underpinnings. The as we mentioned earlier, the immigrant experience in America, which is very unique.
Yeah.
So many other countries, well, we're this, we're that, we don't want, and unfortunately, that some of that is starting to seep into this country. But what made this country so wonderful was it took all these disparate people in, and somehow, even though in many cases they couldn't even speak each other's languages, somehow it all worked, and it worked in a wonderful, wonderful way. And this kind of, in a lighthearted way, it tells that story, and if I think if it stimulates children who see it to ask their parents questions, and the parents can fill in the gaps in their knowledge, it really is in a way kind of educational and very, very inspiring. That's what I would say.
Well, and the fact that it goes through kids, that it goes through Fievel, and that it goes through Tony, and that it goes through, the children that he's lost and has lost his family, and how people do get divided when they're trying to come to the new world and a new country. And I think that hits home with a lot of kids,
I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
Go ahead, John.
I was just going to say, off of what Neil was saying, that United States is the world in a microcosm, because there's no group that's been omitted from this experiment called, America, whether it's Hispanic, Asian American, Jews, African Americans, European Americans, Anglos, you name it, they're all here. And they keep coming here because there's a freedom that you get to enjoy here, to make your place and to make your success, where it just doesn't happen anywhere else in the world. And there is a representative group from every country in the world here in this United States, and it's terrific. It's wonderful.
It's true. I mean, even at my age, I was so young when we did the first movie and we did American Tail, but like, it had such a place in my heart always. Born and raised in a similar Russian Jewish family is how family sticks together through all these crises, and obviously everything that happened with the Mousekewitz. And I love the way that you guys use, like, you'd start with the human beings and then show the mouse version immediately after, and kind of had that parallel through the whole film. I thought that was such a terrific way to tell a story, and nobody really done it that way. And for me, I've always connected with that, and it's always reminded me of my own family. My grandmother that used to take me a lot when we were recording sounded just like Pat. She was a little 70-year-old, 4'11" Jewish woman from the Bronx, and that's how she talked. And she used to call me Philly all the time, which was so funny because of the whole Philly Mousekewitz thing. But that's just sort of the world that I grew up in. So it hit to me so many family home memories. Yeah. That's what I love so much about the thematics.
Yeah, agreed. I agree. Gary, how about you? What do you hope that people take away from this the first time they see it?
You got me. You really got me. I don't know. You know what I mean? If you follow DreamWorks or Pixar or any of these movies that we've done, not with them, but they 6 years more, maybe 10 years of making movies, and ours was in not having a lot of money doing things. We've actually felt that we mastered things into overlapping each movie. Next movie would be halfway through the first movie, starting another one at the same time. So it's so different. And I think, although our times that we had in Disney, it was similar to that. But the world is going crazy here. Some things that they want to have done, and then there's other things, and there's so many more people right now. I mean, one of the things in this industry here, we went to Ireland, and one of the things that the people that brought us there said, we want you to train these people so they can belong like you. And when we left, I mean, when we got there, there was nobody there that knew how to do. One man was there, and the idea for the people in Ireland that wanted to have this unique thing that they've never known about. Now today, there's 15 studios in Ireland doing animation for Disney, doing animation for Warner Brothers, doing animation for even Universal. It's amazing, and nobody died for it. And we came back, and as far as John went back to Disney, and we got picked up by Fox, and it's been such a great thing, you know.
There you go.
Lucky for us and all of our crews that we had over these years.
And lucky to all of us who enjoy the film as well. Marisa, great question. Thank you for that. And let's roll another one. And this comes from Skylar. Did any scenes come across as a surprise to any of you?
Kind of drawing a blank on that one.
Well, Tony and Bridget, because at the time I didn't know that I would, be having a love interest in the show. And it was Kathy Ann, right? Kathy Ann Bloor, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was in it.
Did Bridget. And she and I had auditioned together many times for other things, but I had no idea she was going to be my love interest as Tony. So that was a nice little surprise. And it was also good. I think that it showed that, another side of Tony. I mean, he was street smart and a great little guy, and he helped Philly, he helped Fievel. Kind of took him under his wing, which was great, but that didn't stop him from liking the ladies. So, I thought that
Fievel, just admit it, Fievel was your wingman, Pat. Just tell the
he
truth.
was, for sure.
I was your closer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great.
I was just thrilled that I had a scene with the amazing and wonderful Madeline Kahn. And unfortunately, we didn't get to work together. I would have loved to have done that, but still, it's
yeah.
It was a thrill because she was the greatest.
She was.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. I got a question for Neil. Neil, so when you were riffing off of the line, "Let's have a Wally," was that being coached to you? You weren't working off of Madeline's line directly, so they told you what to say?
Don Bluth was in the room with me, and he would feed me Madeline's lines, and then I would respond to them, obviously. And I think that was part of the script.
It worked beautifully.
Yeah, but I don't know if she had been recorded at that point, but somehow they knew she would have this odd speech pattern, and I would pick up on it and react to it. But
so funny.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't know if I told this story the last time we were together in April, but the two seagulls on the piling watching the ship leave, was it Liverpool? I guess I can't remember, or Dusseldorf or Hamburg. I can't remember the ship that's departing with a Mousekewitz family on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was
with
Hamburg.
two seagulls sitting on the piling, and the one seagull says, "Oh, I got a cousin in America," and then the other seagull says, "Ach," in a German accent, "Ach, you and everybody else." And it was Don and me did those voices.
Oh, great.
And Stephen listened to those voices in one of our screenings and hated it. He said, "Get rid of those voices, hire professionals." And so we told him we did, but we kept the voices in there. So that's Don and myself.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got a cousin in America.
great.
I got a
That's
cousin in
great.
America, and I say, you and everybody else.
I love it.
That's awesome. That's really
Uh,
funny. I didn't know
That's
that.
nice.
No, I didn't know that. Either.
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know.
I don't think
that,
you
was,
didn't.
that was your Hitchcock cameo
Yeah.
appearance.
That is, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a new one. You didn't tell us that last time, so there you go.
Okay.
Good.
Next time you watch it, watch out for the two seagulls.
I remember. That was my big rope walk. I'll never forget him. Keep walking. Keep walking.
I live in Florida. I always have to look out for seagulls.
My surprises were probably, was the cast you guys put together. I mean, I had the privilege of working with almost everyone directly, especially when we recorded with obviously the amazing Christopher Plummer and Dom DeLuise. And, that was for me as, because I knew all these people were. I mean, I was raised in a very, very strict Mel Brooks household. So I knew exactly who Madeline Kahn was
Very
when I met
good.
her. And I just wanted to do a little Lily Von Stupp. That's all I really wanted. I don't think I got it, but I was just so honored and to meet all these people and work with them and sing with them. And that to me was the biggest surprise of all, because usually you don't get to record with anybody, but I was really blessed to get to record with a lot of these people.
That's outstanding. So Gary,
Hey,
what was
Patty, can I do a
Sure.
quick mention of something for a moment?
Of course.
Gary mentioned earlier the passing of one of our key members of our original team, Vera Pacheco. She was a dear friend and an amazing artist and head of our cleanup for, a multitude of feature films with Bluth and with Disney. And also want to mention dear Will Ryan, who is not with us anymore, who was at our April GalaxyCon.
Yeah.
Is also left for the heavenly cartoon heaven. So
Yeah.
our thoughts are with them.
Mhm.
Indeed, with both of them, it was a
How nice
pleasure.
of you to do that, and especially drawing the character. That's so great. God.
Well, you know what, Pat? That's the extension of the American Tail experience, because there's a lot of fans out there that ask for drawings or commissions, or they keep me busy with drawing lots of Fievels, Honest Johns, and Tony Toponis, and on and on and on. So it's alive and well out there, believe me.
How
That's
great.
awesome.
Very good. Gary, haven't heard from you yet. What was the biggest surprise to come out of the film for you?
Me?
Yes, sir.
I'm not sleeping. What's the question again?
What was the biggest surprise to come out of the film for you?
I think
Probably that we finished the film, right?
The
Gary?
distance of, we're talking about American Tail, right?
Right.
Yes, sir.
American Tail.
Well, it was one of the longest time of an animated movie. It went all the way through 6 months, where in those days, some theaters would move on quickly and into something else, but it was very, very, very well done, and things were making things exciting for us for being part of it, and all of you who've done everything there that made up to that ending where Papa couldn't find his son, and I still remember that idea that it's hitting me, that falling and taking your child away. Where is it? Can you imagine even thinking about what Phillip's voices was doing about how it got lost on that little boy and then still came back?
Yeah.
And I like the emotions of any movie, and if it's not doing it, I'm not alive for it.
Cool.
Yeah.
There you go. Skylar, thank you. Great question. I think we have time for one more. Let's see if we can go on a really fun one. And this is going to come from Kevin, who wants to know, if you could make a Christmas pizza, what would be on it?
Well, that's easy in my case. I'm low carb, so it would have no crust. It would be all meat and vegetables.
Probably a cauliflower crust with a red and green pepper for
Ooh.
the seasonal, and maybe some spicy chicken on top of that, and a little bit of vegan cheese to finish it off.
There you go.
Well, I'm clearly not healthy. That's why I keep the camera frames kind of from this area up. But I'm going to do a shout out because I recently had this, being a Nashville native now, is a Nashville hot chicken pizza. And I have to say, it was quite fantastic. If you've never
Wow.
experienced the world of Nashville hot chicken, it's its own thing. So a hot chicken pizza is pretty awesome.
Is it spicy?
Yeah, it's like it's a version of fried with a spicy tang to it.
Wow.
It's pretty neat. It's growing everywhere now, Nashville hot chicken, but
Yeah.
there's a few places here that it kind of originated from that are still pretty awesome to go to.
Now, would the pickles be on this pizza as well?
Absolutely.
Ooh, pickles.
So, John, what's on your Christmas pizza?
You know what? It would be boring to you, but it would be barbecue chicken pizza. I love barbecue chicken pizzas. So,
Really good.
if it's Italian pizza, it's got to have the pepperoni. It's got to have the Italian sausage, the bell peppers, onions, and olives.
Attaboy.
Your barbecue chicken has the red onion, right? Right, John?
Yes.
Good. That's all that matters.
I love onions. I love. Yeah.
There you go. Gary, bring us home. What's on your Christmas pizza?
Mine's about the same as his, but I would have the black olives and jalapenos.
Ooh.
I live in Arizona, we're close to Mexico. So there you go.
Southwest.
There you go. Yeah, there you go, Kevin. Panelists, as always, this has been an absolute delight. Any final words before we take our leave?
I just want to thank Don Bluth again and again and again. I did other films with him, and American Tail was key to my career. And I just want to thank him. It was a wonderful experience. He videoed me while I was recording and used a lot of my movements to create Tony, and it was magic. I want to thank him.
Very, very much so. Anyone else?
I like.
Well,
Hey, you know what? I want to thank all the fans out there for supporting animation, for supporting animated feature films, past, present, and future. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Agreed. And thanks to GalaxyCon, for you guys putting this together. I haven't seen these guys, some of them in 35 years. So thank you guys for making these events happen and allowing us to come and do these panels, sign autographs for fans that I didn't even know we had. It's pretty amazing. So thank you for that.
On behalf of the company, I thank you all. I'm just the hood ornament, but I'll definitely pass those wishes on. So very much so. All right. Well, friends, family, audience, thank you for joining us here on the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Thank you to our audience for joining us, and thank you all for your great questions. Hope to see everybody again soon. Until then, bye-bye, take care, happy holidays, and remember, smiles are free, spend them often.